Hey gang, Pitfighter here. Welcome back to the channel. Built a brand new PC, so I'm back up and running. Now we're playing Scrap Mechanic. This is going to be an intro guide to players that have just downloaded the game, getting into it, and need a couple of things explained. We're going to be covering survival hints and tips, so let's get right into it. Alright, here we are, crash landed on the planet. We got to look out for robots and chests to loot up and things that we can use to build and make ourselves a safe little area so we can survive and take back this planet. So right away you're going to notice you're stuck in first person point of view. You can hold Alt and use your mouse scroll wheel to zoom out or zoom in. You can also use X and Z to kind of fine tune your view if you want. Right off the bat you're going to notice you have two tools. You've got a hammer and a lift. Now the way these things work is basically your hammer acts as a weapon to fight off baddies and smash their heads in, and you can also break down some trees and actually farm some metal later on. The lift acts as a stable platform that you can put items down and build on, or you can jump on yourself and lift yourself up and down with the up and down key. This has a basic WASD movement. You can also hold shift to sprint, and you can hold control to squat down and sneak. So the way the lift works is if I place it somewhere else, it'll vanish from its previous position. So you only have one lift. You can right click to pick it up, or you can simply place it somewhere else and that'll transfer where it is. Now the other tools you're going to get later on in the game, you're going to have to craft them, and you're going to use robots to do so. And our first craft bot is actually inside the burnt ship right on the wall over here. We're going to need some water to put out this fire in here first, so let's get to where the first water container is. Now we're going to head this way first because I could show you guys the first tutorial sign over there. You can pick up this water bucket, and I believe there's a third one right over here by the sign. There should be one more. Yep, there it is, under the sign. Perfect. So this is the way the tutorials in the game work. There's just pictured, depictions of from the left to the right. You need to do these steps and you will accomplish this here. Pretty self-explanatory. This one here is all correct. The only difference is the center one here where it says you must put fertilizer on your plant. This isn't an absolute necessity. If you don't fertilize your plants, they will grow as long as they have some water on them. I personally like to save my fertilizer until later on in the game when I have plots that are going to take longer to grow and I want to speed them up to prevent the raids. The raid system, let's get into that. So the way this game raid system works is the robots will come after your plants. They're going to attack your plants if you have enough of them planted. So if you don't want to activate the raid and have to defend your plants that are growing, keep it in a 3x3, which is a total of 9 plots. As long as you don't plant any more than 9 plots, the timer will not activate and your plots will not get raided. So as a beginner tip, don't plant more than that. If you do plant more than that and you get raided, the timer will tick, the robots will come, they'll try to attack it. If you successfully defend them again, the timer will check again at 4:30 in the morning and see if your plants are still there. If they are still there, they'll attack in a second wave, which will be more and more robots. Now you can simply reset that back to a 0 and pick up all your plants, and when they check in the morning, they'll realize there are no more plants and they'll stop raiding you. The next time you plant your plants, the raid will begin at level 1 again. So this is a great starting area here. I like going this direction first because there's quite a few things we can loot. We can grab this tire, we can grab these seeds, these bags. You can even use this little crowbar tool to rip walls off here and use this stuff later on to help build a starter foundation for a house. So let's get into how you can change how you lay things down. If you tap Q, you can actually change the orientation of any kind of object or blocks that you pick up. So Q is your orientation, and let's grab a simple, easy set of wood off of this. Now, you can't right-click and grab these fences. You can destroy them. You can right-click and grab the walls, but if you hit them, you don't get any yield out of them. They just vanish. So if you want to keep the walls, you have to right-click and hold it. But you can, let me zoom in, you can right-click and hold the right-click button down and drag your icon across and grab all that wood and fencing. You saw that fencing disappeared as well. So I'm going to collect every piece of wood from this area right here to get myself a nice big stack of wood to start, and pick up all these seeds, the soil bags, and that fertilizer. We want that. I'm not going to take all the walls with me quite yet because I want to keep my inventory as, you know, little amount of clutter as possible to start. Now these boxes, you can't put anything in them or do anything with them, so we'll leave those guys behind. So we got all the wood from here except for that row there. Let's grab that one. Alright, so we got as much wood as we could from there. We're going to grab our seeds and our tire, and we're going to head over to the starter ship there. Now, did I take the one? Oh, I didn't take my water bucket. Let's take that water bucket too. I'm not going to plant any plants right now. I'm going to move on and get right to looting because I want to get as much of this day as I can going. So here we are back at our ship. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't grab water so we can put out some fire. So let's do that. Let's go grab some water. We're going to take this water bucket, put it on our quick bar here. Another tip, how to get things on and off your quick bar quick. You can hold shift down and left click and just throw everything into your backpack, or you can snap things onto your quick bar with that same left click button. Alright, so the water bucket, you left click on the water and you'll see on the bottom icon on my thing, the little handle is up. If I throw it, the handle is down. Now you can collect all of these water buckets if you want, but I noticed there's no way to place the water bucket in the world, where other items like seeds, tires, even the fertilizer, you're able to just simply place these things on the ground. So if your inventory gets too cluttered and you need to just drop a few things, you can do that. These things won't despawn until you pick them back up again. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out, and if you guys know in the comments, you can tell me how to place that water bucket. I'd like to know that. But in the meantime, we're just going to take one with us. And you can see here on the icon, the handle is up, which means there is water in it. So let's go into the ship here and see if we can get this fire put out right here. There we go. Now it's safe to go over here and we can grab that tire and check out this robot here. He says he requires power, but I know where that battery is. Let's grab that switch here, that light, and that stack of potatoes. Now this right here, if I put a battery in here, I'll have access to this robot, and he'll let me craft my other tool that I need that allows me to connect all the things like tires, switches, lights, everything like that. I need a connection tool. So he's going to allow me to do that. Now another tip here is if you press the H button, you will get some explanations about what things are and how they work in the game. Bearings, the lift, it gives you a quick breakdown of how you can do things. So if you forget things that you saw on videos and you're like, how do I do that again? There's quite a bit of knowledge on here that'll help you out. So just tap H for that. Alright, so while we're in here, I'm going to save my game to one of these beds by tapping E. Now if I die, I'm going to pop out of that bed. I can use this little box here as a storage unit for things that I'm not planning on using right now, or I can pick it up with right click and take it with me. So we're just going to take that with. This little radio here, you can hit E and access it, so I'm going to take that too. That's kind of cool. Alright, I see behind the flames here some fuel. Can I grab that from here without getting burned? Oh, I can. And that looks like some sodas over there. Well, let me grab that and that. Looks like I don't have to put the fire out in there to grab that stuff. I think we have everything we can get from the ship, so I'm going to just move on from here. Let's get over to the left here and start looting. I'm going to grab all these cases and start up back there. So I'll be right back. I need to loot this stuff. We grabbed all those chests. One thing I wanted to show you guys again is a tip. If you hit these trees, these burnt trees, they'll drop these weird looking pieces of burnt ember. Now at first these things seem like, I have no use for that. But later on you're going to notice you're going to be crafting and there's going to be this ingredient and it doesn't explain to you what that ingredient is. When I first started playing this game, I got a little confused and couldn't figure out where to find this. It's ember from burnt trees. All those trees there and some of these guys are able to be hit with the hammer basically, and you can farm up quite a bit of this ember. So if you guys get to the first crafting station and you realize, how do I get that ember? That's where you got to go. Alright, so if you want the first battery to unlock the craft bot that is in the ship that you crashed in, the first battery is right up there. You see that piece of burning ship? There's a battery connected to that burning ship. So I'll run up there and show you guys what that looks like. Alright, so this is the battery location here. Unfortunately, you don't see any icon that shows you can loot it, but trust me, if you hold right click, you can grab it. Now you can bring this battery right back over to the ship, plug it in, and that'll allow you to access that robot that's in the ship. One other thing about looting, if you see these giant green containers, don't forget to hit E and check them, because sometimes they've got some goods in them. Also, when you first walk around these original buildings here, you're going to notice some of these parts here that you can hold E to refine. These are the legs of the yellow robots. I believe they're called farm bots. You want to refine these guys to get yourself some starter scrap metal. Alright, I spent the majority of my night running back here, grabbing a few more trees and putting all the fires out on the inside of the ship. So while we're here now and the fires are out, let's put our battery in here, get the power on, and you can see now we have access to this first craft bot and a connection tool. This is the first thing we're going to need to be able to connect any of our parts together for any of our builds. So we're going to get that going first. So basically for our first night, we're able to make our first tool, power up our first craft bot, and we're able to grab just enough supplies here where we've got some food that we can eat if we're getting hungry or thirsty, and we've got a whole bunch of other stuff here. So we can use this little crashed place here as a starter base. What can we cover while it's dark out? Orientation of blocks. So you can see here I have some wood blocks. Now if I want to build something on here like a base for a car or whatever, I can, let me zoom in so you guys can see this. I can change the orientation of how these blocks are going to lay out by simply pressing the Q button like we did when we were dropping our items. Q will give you 3 options. You'll be able to go this way, that way, that way. Tap it again, you can go up and down, left and right. Tap it one more time, you can go this way, and up and down. So Q is a 1, 2, 3 orientation change. Now the cool thing about the lift is if I build something on here, it won't fall off. It's stuck to the lift. Now if I place the lift somewhere else, this item now is on the floor and will move around. If I want to get that back on the lift, I simply put my icon over here, get it glowing, left click, and you can see when I do drop it again, it'll now be back on the lift again. So this is what we're going to use to kind of build our first vehicle. We'll get it going with this. We're going to head straight down there past the building we looted and go to the left and loot the next building. So here we go. And this looks like the next building here. So we're going to basically loot all of this, smash all these robots, and get as much material as we can, bring that material back to the ship and see if we can make our first car so we can go looking for the building with the big wrench. To do this fight, I'm going to keep backtracking and holding down left click, and as you can see, they don't always hit you as long as you're moving backwards. Now if they do kill you, you're going to wind up right back in the bed at the ship, so it's really not that big of a deal kind of facing off against multiple monsters at first. Don't stress if you die, you're going to respawn right back there at the crash site. Alright, we got just about everything we could from this building here. We're going to head back to the ship and see if we can make this car real quick. Alright, so what do we need here? We have 3 wheels. We're going to need to craft 1 more wheel, so let's get that going. We're going to need an engine, and we're going to need a driver's seat. It looks like we're going to need a little bit more wood for the driver's seat, which is pretty easy to get. We know how to do that. And we're going to need, how many of these? We need 4 wheels and then 2 more of these to be able to let the car steer. So let's grab this, and we have enough for that. We need a little more wood. Let's get the engine going and we'll chop down some trees while that's going. We chopped down 1 full tree and we have enough wood here, I believe, to make our seat and the rest of the stuff we're going to need. So we got our 4 wheels, 4 bearings, we have our motor, and we just need a seat and 2 more bearings. So we'll get that seat, these 2 bearings, and we'll throw this thing together. So let's get our first car started here. Looks like my character needs a little bit of food. We'll chop down a couple of these tomatoes that we looted up. There we go. Alright, so we're going to drop our lift. There we go. Right there. So let's zoom in and let's see. I believe the seat is a 4 inch thick wide, maybe 2 wide. I'm not sure. I think if I do 2 wide, the seat might hang off the edges a little bit, but that's fine. This looks about big enough for a car here. Let's see, for the front we're going to need some steering, so we're going to go 1 block higher and we're going to let this guy stick out a little bit. So let's go 1, 2, and we'll be able to connect the steering under there. And this guy we're not going to need to go 1 block higher. We're going to be able to just go out this way. 1, 2, 3. So we're at 3 out that way. Let's extend this 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that should basically be the frame of our car here. Let's grab our seat and let's place our seat down. We're going to want to be facing forward towards the steering, so let's put this about center mass there. Is that about the middle? Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's grab our motor and put our motor right on the back here. And now we're going to craft 2 more of these guys. 1, 2. Oh, we can't make more than 1 at a time, so we'll let that go. Alright, so we're going to raise up our lift a little bit here, and we are going to put our 2 steering bearings down. We're going to go 1 and 2. This is going to allow for our left and right movement. We're going to place a block on each of these, and then we're going to place the other 2 bearings here and here. Now that's going to allow us to steer our car. So let's grab our front wheels. We'll put our front wheels on here. 1, 2. There we go. And we'll lower this down. So this is where the connection tool comes into play. You can connect the car seat to the engine. The car seat can also go to these front bearings here. We're going to let the front wheels kind of rotate on their own. So we're going to change the direction of these so it's not counterintuitive, and we need our last 2 bearings to go on here so we can connect our back wheels. So we're going to have our 1 bearing here, and let's connect the wheel to that. Boink. And we need 1 more bearing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And our car should be complete and working. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to put some gasoline in the gas tank to get that going, which we've got plenty of from looting. So let's do that. Let's open our gas tank. Wait, we need the gas on our quick bar, so keep that on there. So we're going to open up with E, place a stack of gas here, and I will put the remainder of our gasoline right on the front of the car. So as we're traveling, we got extra gas with us. So that's pretty much it. I'd like to take our loot box with us. So we're going to connect this loot box to the back of the car here, right there. And we're going to take the remainder of our stuff. Alright, so you know what? Let's put a light on this thing just so we can see where we're going if we want to go out at night. We're going to take this light and we're going to place it right on the front of the car here. And we'll hit E for use, and we're going to turn that light all the way up. So now we can drive around at night and see where we're going. It's going to be a little hard to see on the recording, so I think what we're going to do is we're just going to wait till morning, and then I'll show you guys where the first building is that we want to get to, and we will hold down that as our new base. Let's test out our steering wheel quick. Yep, and can we move forward? Nope, can't. We have to connect our wheels. Alright, so we have to connect this motor to the back wheels, and we want to make sure that it's rotating the right way. That one is. Let's grab that motor and connect it to this, and this one's rotating the wrong way, so we're going to right click and make that rotating. So now the car should work. Let's see if it'll move forward. Yep, and we'll move back. Yep, so WS will go forward and back. So we got a functional little ride here. We're going to grab this thing with our lift, left click it, and then I'm going to tap Q to change its orientation to be facing that way. And we're going to head out first light. Alright, it is first light, 4:30 in the morning. Just getting nice and bright here. I spent the rest of the night breaking down a tree and hit one more of the burnt trees for the Ember. Now if I get in my car here, I can't move anywhere because it's on the lift. As you can see, I brought it out. So I can either place the lift right here and the car will drop, or I can right click and the car will drop off of it. One more thing, we did get a free switch while we were in there, so let's connect that switch to the light and connect the switch to the seat, and that should allow us to turn our light on and off with the 1 button. Pretty cool. Alright, so what we're going to do is zoom out a little bit while we're in the car, and we're going to head towards the first place we need to find. Now this car is a little janky, a little hard to steer. If you get stuck or you flip over, you can hop off. You can grab it with your lift, and you can hit Q again and replace it anytime you get stuck or you flip. That's the best thing to do. So we're going to head down to the road there and see if we can get on the right track to finding our first building. And I think this thing's a little bit slow, so what we're going to do, let's check our inventory and see. Do we have enough space to clear the inventory out of this chest and maybe lighten up this car a little bit? Let's pick that up. Let's see if that makes it drive a little bit faster. Is it quicker now? Yeah, that's better. Now we're moving. Okay, so we got the road here, which leads left is dead end, so we have to go right. Oh, you know what the problem is here? we didn't adjust the speed on our motor. Let's do that. Let's crank the speed of this motor all the way up. It'll use a little more gas, but maybe we'll get there a little bit faster. There we go. Now we're rocking. Alright, so we've come to our first crossroad, and it looks like we found the building we're looking for to the right here. I am going to check this little shopping town here and see if there's a bathroom, because in the bathrooms, these little outhouses, you can find a toilet, and that toilet's going to be a nifty tool later on. Let's see, do they have a toilet in here? They do. I'm going to right click and grab that toilet. We're going to want it. We can use it for a passenger seat on our car and save us the trouble having to make a passenger seat, and we can also use it to get to high places that we can't normally reach. So let's head over to the first place that we want to make our base, and I'll show you guys how to activate that next crafting bot. Alright, so here we are at the station here where we're going to need our second battery to turn on everything. So let's park our car here, and you can see it's got the same crafting bot that was in the ship, but there's also a spot to put a battery here. Now the other place that we can craft robots is right up here. So the battery is normally in building number 2. So what we want to do is we want to get our game saved to one of the beds in here as soon as possible and then get that second battery. So just in case we die, let's go and save the game here first. Now I don't believe there's a robot in here. Nope. There's 2 beds right here. You can choose which one you want to save. So now if we die, we are save pointed right to here. Let's go grab that second battery. Now there should be a bad guy in here. There he is, and there's our battery. Let's knock this guy's block off and get our second battery. Good night, sucker. Thank you for the components. Pick up our battery. We'll come, actually, you know what? Let's grab this leg wire here. Now I wouldn't suggest saving your game in this place right here because this guy does respawn in here. So if you die, you respawn here, you might die and die again. So yeah, save in number 1 or number 3. Power up our new base. Bam. Alright, so as a beginner tip, you want to try to spend all of this stuff on the craft bot first. This guy is going to allow you to build pretty much everything in the game. Quick explanation of what all these things are. The refine bot, when you notice you kill those yellow guys, their legs drop, you can feed the legs into this. You can feed wood bars into this, metal, stone, everything. If you connect a chest directly to this green spot on the end, it will siphon everything directly into the chest. The resource collector will also pick up all of those bars, legs, wood, metal, stone, everything. The nice thing about the resource collector, you can put this on the back of a vehicle, drive around, collect a bunch of stuff, bring it back, place the resource collector right next to this refine bot, and the resource collector will directly feed into here, which then in turn will feed directly into your box. So these two together work great. You can't make either one of these until you've made this guy. So he's your priority. The cook bot obviously cooks food that'll fully heal all your food and water. Everything you make on this will heal both of these from the lowest to the highest. And your dress bot, this is your cosmetics. So you want to grab a bunch of cotton, and when you get those little cosmetic boxes, the green ones are the most common. There's yellow, pink, or whatever. All of those things will give you cosmetics in the game. The nice thing about the cosmetics is no matter which game you're in, could be your friend's game, could be any one of the maps that you can make multiple games in this, it always saves to your character, so your cosmetics will transfer over to wherever you go. And that is pretty much it for our starter guide to scrap mechanics. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're going to be doing more advanced tips and building tricks as we go. So the next vehicle I build will be a lot faster and cooler, and we're going to put a drill on the front of it so we can start breaking some rocks and getting some pure metal, and we'll build up that craft bot and get everything going. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you're as interested in this game as I am, and if you want to see more, keep your eye on the channel because we're going to be pumping out videos on Scrap Mechanic. Thanks a lot for watching. This is Pit Fighter. I'm out.